starting his Ferrari. Let's see how this goes. We got people over here all comfortable, ready to have a good time.
It does it automatically. He can't stop it. That car,
you know, I'm shadow boxing a lot, and I'm figuring out what way, you know, I'm developing a style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
back to the karate style.
A little bit of a blend. We'll see. Like I said, we'll
hybrid.
See. A hybrid, yeah.
Thanks so
I
much,
feel if I was to say, you know, in this, like if I look at the first fight with Poirier, it was the perfect blend between boxing and acrobatic martial arts.
Yes.
You know, the spinning attacks and then the clean boxing.
Yeah.
The second fight was a little bit more straight boxing. There was no kicks. The third fight was a little bit more acrobatic martial arts and no boxing.
Yeah.
So I don't want to kind of go back and blend them back in again.
So it's a balance.
It's a balance. It's about finding that balance. You know, every day, Render's due every day. Every day's a lesson. We build and we get better. I'm happy with my ground strikes from bottom. I think people are going to start, you know, respecting different aspects of my game. My shots from the bottom, my shots from top. I have many different styles of fighting. So we'll get there for sure. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There's been a lot achieved, but a lot still to go, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to go for my fans. You know what I mean?
I've been training with Islam. I remember I trained with Islam, used him as a sparring partner back when I fought Machida. And he came in like the later rounds and I didn't really respect him, and we got caught on the wall. At one point, Islam just head and armed me. Little 55-pounder threw me feet overhead, landed on my head. I had to get back up and I learned to have to respect a 155-pounder like I never have. Islam is a gangster. He deserves every bit of the hype. And he's about to be your next champ. I don't see anybody stopping him.
You cannot say that Islam is not a finisher. He's a finisher. He's just that guy because he's so dominant. People are saying he's boring.
Well, the difference between him and like Khabib would beat you into submission to the point where, like, while talking to you, that's what made Khabib so marketable. Whereas Islam,
I can't remember any of those.
Yeah, neither does his opponents.
Oh.
Islam will just walk you down, get to the takedown. When he does, he's looking for the submission. He's looking to submit you. If you try to make a mistake or try to make a submission or a sweep or something like that, he's going to end up passing the guard, getting an attack in the arms. Look, there's been conversations I've had conversations with top-level jiu-jitsu guys and top-level wrestlers where these guys are wrestling, some of the best wrestlers in the world, you know, were the best wrestlers in the world that are now turning over to fighting, that are super, super strong. And they're like, he is probably the strongest guy I've ever wrestled or grappled with, is when they're talking about Islam. I mean, if you go back there, I think there was an interview with Duran Wynn, who's like shorter, stocky, strong as hell, super explosive. And he's just like, man, when I wrestle with Islam, he's like, that's the strongest dude I've ever wrestled. Strongest dude I've ever wrestled. And that's just one guy. I mean, other guys, like I tell you guys, man.
And Duran is fighting at 185 and 205.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and that's the thing is, I'm not here to toot his horn. I don't need to. The guy's getting finishes. The guy's gonna be fighting for the title next. I don't need to do that stuff. You guys can see it. Maybe you guys don't like him. I don't know. I don't
That's
care.
Okay.
He's a good fighter. He's a really damn good fighter. Bobby Green is a phenomenal fighter. You know, I just knew that the experience between the two that I've had with both of them, and I just knew that if it did get out of the first round, it wasn't going to go much longer after the first round, you know. And I just didn't think that the movement, and I think that Bobby leaves himself right there to be grabbed in the body lock in any type of position, because even though Bobby rolls with the punches, he doesn't like shift a whole lot and move his body a whole lot, like in terms of scoots out and cut angles. So he stays kind of flat-footed a little bit, and that's never a good recipe, you know, when you're dealing with one of these guys. So different styles make fights. Big win for Islam.
Yep.
You know, he's a stud and nothing but the best for him.
8 round de boxe. A galera fera com o Kelso. 5 rounds. E agora, terceiro salto agora. Aí não tem quem segura, não. Ação insana.
What you getting there?
A little bit of this, a little bit of
There's
that.
an after to this.
I do big stuff, yeah.
Man, respect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Easy. Let's see. Shit kicks off. I'm with this guy.
Thank you, sir.
All good. All good. All good.
Cheers. Oh, wait, that's my favorite.
To the good life. To the good life. Yes. Yes.
We've been saying for almost a year now that Islam Makhachev would be favored to beat any lightweight in the world. Why are you smirking at me, Ken Flo?
I'm smirking because it's like Khabib left and he replaced him with like a clone of him. You know what I mean?
Right, and
Who's
some would argue actually a better version. Right.
Yeah, so you're like, oh,
right.
cool,
The
great.
late
We thought we
great
got rid of him.
Abdulmanap's like star pupil, you know,
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the immediate future for Islam, and whom do you think is next? And then I'll let it rip on the same subject.
Yeah, listen, I think that he gets the winner of Gaethje and Oliveira. I think that's the fight. That makes the most amount of sense. You look at his win streak, what he's done. Perhaps he hasn't faced, you know, the elite guys yet, but can he beat any one of the top five? Yeah, I think he can. So I think he deserves it based on his skills, based on the momentum, and based on the fact that, you know, he just won a main event very impressively. So I think it's all kind of firing for him right now. And I guess it's a question of, I don't know if it's a question of metrics, if the UFC's seeing if this guy moves the needle or not. I think that would be the only thing left as far as whether he gets that next shot. But based on what he's done, absolutely. Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're aligned. I don't know if I'm missing something with a segment of the fan base. I can understand why there is some public sentiment for them putting the fight with Beneil Dariush back together. But what, is Makhachev going to wait 6 months for another fight, right? Like, I don't wholly subscribe to... Well, I don't at all subscribe to Chael Sonnen's whole forfeiture angle, right? But, you know, Islam trained for this date and showed up. Yeah, he had to pull out of one of the fights with Rafael dos Anjos, right? But how do you put this Bobby Green win in its proper perspective? You know, because some people just want to act like it didn't even happen, right? And you mentioned Bobby Green being on fire, you know, his competitive spirit, being in a great mental place coming in, even without a training camp. And he did just train for a fight and get out of the hack brass fight pretty cleanly. I don't know what people want, Kenny, right? Like, I screamed from the rooftops for Tony Ferguson to get a title fight, right? First guy at 155 pounds to put together a double-digit winning streak. But what, they want one signature win against a guy who had a number next to his name, like Dan Hooker's not good enough, or Moises, or Sarukian, or none of, I mean, you know, he hasn't lost since 2015. He's won 10 fights in a row, and he came in number 4 in the world. Like, you're going to just say now you got to wait 6 months for Beneil Dariush? I mean, I'm with you. It's like, this dude, I don't know if Dana said anything after the fact. This guy fights the winner of Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira, and I think he'll probably be favored to beat either one.
Yeah, 100%. And listen, I don't think Benny's going anywhere either. You know, I feel bad for Benny, the fact that he lost out on this opportunity. But, you know, I think Benny's going to be back, and who knows, you know, he fights someone, and he gets right back in there and he fights for the belt against Islam, maybe, or whatever. So it's not, you know, these things happen all the time, and injuries happen. They're unfortunate. Yes, people want to go back and see fights and all that stuff, but Benny will be back. He's not going anywhere. And I think Islam, you know, has done everything that he needs to do to win. And he comes from like a championship pedigree, right? I mean, he's being mentored by Khabib. They've trained countless hours together. They've come up from the same gym. They know the recipe to success. And I think he is very well poised to be a champion in this sport.